Welcome, everybody, to a live installment of the Real Sharks podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Rob, with his co host, Donna and Steve. Thank you
Yo.
for joining us. We have a great show for you here today. We're going to be talking about the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. And for our members, we're actually going to be talking about Baby. But before that, we're also going to talk about Air and talk about Avatar 2 and where it stands at the box office right now. And we got some interesting other news about The Little Mermaid, the live action movie. So let's go ahead and get started with today's show, everybody. So, how's everyone doing? First of all, first and foremost.
Pretty good.
Yeah, doing good. Lots of news.
Yeah,
Lots of
there's
news.
actually a lot of news. One of the first ones I want to get into is actually for an upcoming sequel. I think we all know the movie, unless we've been living under a rock here, by the name of I Am Legend. Everybody know it, right?
Yeah,
Everybody know it.
right.
Yes.
A
So
little.
they're making a sequel. I don't know if you guys heard about this. They're actually doing a sequel to I Am Legend, but they're using the alternate ending from I Am Legend. And I was reading all the articles I'm reading about this is really interesting because they're saying not many people have seen the alternate ending. First of all, there is YouTube, everybody. You can go look it up. So
Right.
right now. But I would say that was true in the age of DVDs because I remember when I had the DVD, basically there was the alternate ending. That was when
Yeah.
DVDs were such a thing. It was a special features. Remember that?
Right.
Oh
God,
yeah.
I
Right.
sound so old now. Remember when DVDs were a thing? um,
DVDs.
I know DVDs.
Right.
Um,
Hey, at least you didn't bring up Be Kind Rewind.
right. Oh, that's actually
Oh,
that's actually
yeah.
an interesting movie. That was a movie that's a prelude to itself. Like it was actually an
Right.
older movie that was written, but again,
Yeah.
that I digress. They're going to use the I Am Legend 2 alternate ending, and for those of you listening at home and have never seen it, we're probably going to show it here up on the screen on YouTube. So make sure you're watching us on YouTube. Sometimes people, especially right now, live. But the alternate ending, for those of you who don't know, the original ending, everyone knows the creatures break in there, the vampire kind of things. They break in there and they basically storm the compound. He blows himself up in the movie, but she gets the cure out there, right?
Right.
Happy ending. He sacrifices himself for the greater good, whatever, you know. But then you got the whole butterfly and the whole symbolism of everything happens for a reason, this and that. The alternate ending, for those of you who have never seen it, has kind of a different touch. The alternate ending is actually one where he lets kind of the creatures come in, they start breaking through the window, you know, you got the whole butterfly scene, but then he actually lets them in. Like he opens the door and walks past them and like injects like the woman that he was doing that experiment on to turn her normal back into one of the creatures of the night, and basically you like that, Steve? Creatures of, and basically they do the whole and it's
Yeah.
that's what's kind of weird about the scene too. If you haven't seen it, there's a lot of roaring and like yelling on the creature's part,
Screeching
and
and
it
stuff.
looks a little
Yeah.
funny too for the special effects of that age going on that long. um, but it paints a more humanitarian, I guess you want to say, or a more human scene of the creatures. Meaning, like just because they're like blood sucking vampires doesn't mean they don't have feelings.
Right.
Come on, that's
Right.
basically what it is. That's basically what they were saying is that they are humane within their own nature.
Like a
You know
warm
what
body
justifies
situation.
human, a warm body situation. That's what it is. So they're actually making the sequel based off that alternate ending. Is that a problem?
Dude, you know what? This is what I'm gonna
Is
say
that an
about it.
excuse to bring Will Smith back?
Yeah, I think it's just an
Uh,
excuse because like it kind of goes against the principle of it being an alternate ending. You know what I mean? Like it's an ending, yes, but it's obviously not the one that they went with in post. So if you're just gonna make up your own rules, be like, well, we're actually just gonna do the one that we did not air, and we'll just make a movie based off of that. We're not gonna go off of I Am Legend 1, and then we're going to call it I Am Legend 2. We're not going to call it like I Am Legend whatever title that you want to go with. They're actually going with a numeric number to solidify that this is like a continuation to the first
Mm,
one. So it's just making it convoluted. It just seems weird. It's just, I felt like I Am Legend was a complete story. So why are they even making a sequel? And then two, it's just weird. It kind of breaks movie rules a little bit. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I Go ahead, Donna.
No, I was going to agree with him 100%. You know, why make a second one? I think it ended kind of way it needed to end.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, I Am Legend is actually a remake of Omega Man, which is a weird movie. And they
Yes.
actually cut, I think, it's the same premise, except the beings have more of a culture kind of thing. They also look weird too. I think they look funny in that movie. But the other thing is too is that remember the telephone thing, Steve? And the guy
Oh,
said, so
right.
so he's going crazy in Omega Man, but the way they show he's going crazy, here's like a phone ring, and he's like, "What's that?
Yeah, yeah.
Stop!" And he's just freaking out over this goddamn phone ringing, and it's like one of the funniest bits I've ever seen. But one of the funniest bits I've actually seen recently, and the reason I even want to touch on this is because we actually talked about this kind of on another episode. Of course, I can't tell you which one because we've done so many episodes. But the that Winnie the Pooh horror movie, the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, apparently has dismal reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Steve, apparently people didn't like it, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, yeah. No, what did you expect to see? Did you think there was going to
Right.
be like some kind of like scenes with Tigger or a guy dressed as Tigger killing Winnie the Pooh? I mean, of course, it was just a strangers type situation where people were just dressed like Winnie the Pooh to freak people out. I mean, what
Yeah.
were you thinking it was going to be some like surreal fantasy horror nostalgia, like a Pinocchio murder mystery kind of thing?
It's like,
Right.
well, let's just, I think, why do people do this with horror? It's so weird. It's like only
Deception.
horror
Or
sometimes too, where they give it too hard of a criticism, like Rotten Tomatoes. If you've noticed, like Rotten Tomatoes really gives horror the business, but they don't do that with many other films.
yeah,
But then
no,
like Rob is saying, what the film's gonna be. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. What were you expecting? You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's not gonna be like this classic film that's going to be rocking the nation. It's really what it is. It's
That Winnie the Pooh, it really showed me something about myself, the
right.
Right.
society that we live in.
I think it was going to be by
It
Robert De
made some kind of
Niro, Don
made a
Cheadle.
tear come down my face watching it. Like,
Right.
is that what people thought that was going to be? Is that was that what
Maybe.
people thought? I think
Maybe.
that's what people thought. Um,
Reflecting movie.
so they're making a. Well, actually, Donald, what do you think about that whole Winnie the Pooh gimmick thing?
I kind of want to watch it. Like I looked a little bit onto YouTube about it, One of the guys I was listening to about it, they weren't like Winnie the Pooh characters. It was like half man, half
Yeah,
bear type of thing or
right.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to look at it, but he said the movie was so bad it wasn't even worth it. So, but still, I kind of want to watch it because, I mean, yeah, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and all that was part of my childhood. I mean, I've got a cat named Eeyore,
Yeah, but it's
and
not it's
Piglet.
not like you're gonna be watching Eeyore. I think the perception is people thought this was gonna be some like dark Disney film, but
No,
everyone it's just
Right.
about killers, like
yeah,
it's just, like I said, the strangers kind of thing, like people breaking into your home, killing you
With something like that, I agree with
with
Donna
a
too. It's
theme,
just like
killers with
I don't know.
themes.
It's like I grew up with Winnie the Pooh as well, but when I see this, it's so farther away from what the cartoon Disney thing is. It's literally its own
Yeah,
thing,
it's its
just with
own
the
thing. It's
title. So I don't
yeah.
know why people, and again, that's the Rotten Tomato score, but also it got a 59% audience score. So it's like a give and take. It's like the audience thought it was probably funny. It finds its way. You know what I mean? Like horror is one of those genres, like I was saying. Like it's just one of those. It finds its way. It's gonna find its audience. It's probably gonna be a cult classic 10 years down the line.
So help me out with this title, Steve. I don't know what it's called off the bat, but I've noticed a theme going on with movies nowadays. Maybe they're running out of ideas. I don't know. But it seems like nowadays, and I'm not saying it's not going to be good, my audience, before we talk about this. So before you all jump down our throats and say, God, these guys are so cynical with their criticism, before you throw your phone, TV, radio, whatever, and you can listen to Real Sharks on iHeartRadio, by the way. Before you do that, just make sure you listen to what I'm going to say here. It seems like the theme right now in Hollywood is to do movies on like processes or like little minuscule like stories that no one ever really thought of, because they're making that movie about the guy who made the atomic bomb. What was it called? The new Christopher Nolan film? I'm sorry, it's escaping me right now, Steve.
Oh yes, I forget too. Did it have a title? I thought it was an untitled
No, it's
project.
like it's Donna, can someone fact check me on that, please? What that movie is called? It's a new Christopher Nolan film about the atomic program. But what I'm getting at is they are making a film now about the creation of the first Air Jordan shoe
Really?
called
Wow.
Air. Donna, do you
Yeah.
got that
It
for me?
the movie, I think it's Oppenheimer, right?
That's the
There
word.
you go.
That's the word. I was like, yeah, I got it, but I ain't pronouncing that correctly.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
think it's
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that's the guy's
Oppenheimer.
last. I think that was the dude's like
Nine.
last name, right? The atomic
Nine.
bomb guy.
You gotta say nine in German like a cat, like nine.
Nine.
Nine,
I can't
nine,
even
nine.
do it.
But it doesn't it seem like they're making movies about the process of things. Like we're gonna get a movie about
I
like,
know, right?
like the process, not about Oscar Mayer, but about how he made the hot dog itself.
Yeah, like how he came up with the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kid,
That
but that's probably it. Might be a film that's gonna they make it interesting. You put a
copyright by Real Sharks.
a crazy Hans Zimmer score behind the Oscar Mayer.
Just sitting there, just just putting the meat in there. It's just some nice score, just boom, dun, 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 boom, right into like Inception,
Right.
Christopher Nolan music as
Yeah,
he's just
just a
dun,
montage of him coming up with the
dun.
Oscar Mayer wiener.
But anyway, so this new movie is basically about Michael Jordan's shoe and like how basically it came to be. And it's interesting because if you didn't watch, you could actually have caught this story on the Last Dance. And basically, for those of you who don't know the story, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, so I'll tell you now. Julius Tenen is playing Michael Jordan. I actually was sitting there going, I wonder if Michael Jordan's going to let this slide and be like, no, I
Right.
can play my old self too, my young self too.
Right.
He's like, I can be young Jordan.
Yeah, they have de-aging.
um, anyway, yeah, they might. You know what? They could have just pulled a Harrison Ford with him, but he probably would have asked too much money. They could have just
Yeah.
digitally, like, made his face like more stuff. Like,
Let's be
but yeah,
honest, Bob. If we're seeing Michael Jordan on screen ever again, he better be like stretching his arm way out, dunking a basketball.
it's
Yeah.
Space Jam 3, shaking hands with LeBron status. Anyway, um, never gonna happen. But who knows?
No.
Or will it?
Who knows? Who knows? So this new movie, for those of you who don't know, so in The Last Dance, they talk about how Michael Jordan was shopped around when he was young to basically get a shoe deal, and a lot of people were like, "Who is this kid? He may be a hot guy out of North Carolina, but he hasn't played in the NBA yet. We can't just give this kid a shoe deal." And it's interesting because that's Converse actually rejected him,
Right.
which is and at the time they held a monopoly on the shoes in the NBA. So this is where the story gets really interesting. So Nike was the only real company to invest in Michael Jordan. And the rest is history because Michael Jordan created basically, that whole you gotta get the new Jordans every year. And then from there,
Yeah.
Nike, it just rippled into everything Nike owned.
Yeah.
Commercials. Got to be the shoes. Commercial.
Gotta be the shoes. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. With
Became its own brand. It basically saved Nike too. Like, see, Nike wasn't
It
hurting,
was
but
a startup
transformed them.
company, and they
Yeah.
were literally. It was kind of funny because they were such a startup company. Like, God, we hope this guy is going to take us somewhere.
Right. And
Yeah.
made
And
them
it's
one of the
like,
biggest, basically franchises in all of history.
right. That's what I'm saying. It's. I mean, does it make? But what did make a good movie, Steve? Let me ask you that. Does it make a good movie? I mean, what we just explained to you was pretty much what was in The Last Dance. I
Yeah.
mean, that's pretty much the story. Converse rejected him. You know what happened. Nike eventually bought Converse, and
Yeah.
that's what happened.
I don't
Uh,
know, man. It seems weird. I don't know. I don't. I really. I don't even know what to say about about this. What do you feel like, Donna? Do you think that this premise,
She probably doesn't care. She hates basketball.
yeah, like it's just
Hey,
a
like,
weird
I
one.
don't hate basketball.
And this is like,
I just
it's not
don't
even
watch
basketball.
it.
It's like shoes. It's, you know what I mean?
But
The
that's for
shoes.
sneakerheads. The sneakerheads are gonna watch this, Steve. The
Yeah.
sneakerheads
They
are
Oh
gonna
yeah, for
are.
watch
sure.
this.
For
And that's
sure.
probably and no, they are. Or anyone that, followed Michael Jordan's career or people that still buy Jordans. Not naming any names, Rob. That never really grew out of that. But no,
Grew
I
up
think
out of that. Immature.
um okay, so I seen I am drawing a blank tonight. The preview for this movie during one of the Super Bowl
Right.
commercials. And I actually like we mute the commercials sometimes, and my husband wanted to say something important. I was like, I need you to shut up and unmute it because that's about Michael Jordan.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
actually looking really forward to watching the movie because I like watching how stuff like that happen. Like,
Okay.
no one gave him a shot and someone finally did, and he's like, you know what, deuces, guys, like, and just exploded that company for everybody, and still does. Like, does he even still play basketball?
No. No,
Okay,
he's
see,
retired. That would be amazing if he did at this age.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if he still did, Steve? And he did the Last Dance documentary and everything.
Oh my god.
He's like, we gotta
Again.
finish this up. I got a game in
I gotta
about 48 hours here.
but I mean, hey, he may come out of retirement for the movie.
Yeah.
Not play one game.
I think it can only work with either him or like maybe LeBron, but for him, he's so recognizable. He's almost like a Mickey Mouse type character. Like, you know what I mean? People
That's funny that you say that,
widely
Steve.
know him, but then they also know Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it works. That's how, even though it's just about this shoe deal, but how incredible is that? Like, it's not even about the dude's life. It's just about
It's
him
fucking,
getting a shoe deal.
that's how amazing he is
That's
as a
how
person.
amazing.
He has a movie about his fucking shoe deal. Think about
Hey,
that.
he has a movie about how no one believed in him, and a company was like, you know what, you haven't
I'm
even
saying.
you haven't even stepped on the floor yet to show us your talent. Let me go ahead and let me make you a pair of shoes, and we'll see how it goes. And they both just took off.
So,
And it's
Donnie, you're
funny
saying this
too.
is the prequel to Space Jam. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
No pun intended. No pun intended. Now, welcome to the slam. No, 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 no. Right, Steve?
That better be in the credits, dude. If that's not in the credits of him
No,
like
no, no,
going to the league.
no.
Right.
All right, so I want to talk about another big story here, and I could speak on the Jordan shoe deal all day long, really, because there's more controversy in it too as well. So they're actually making the live adaptation to the Little Mermaid movie finally. Of course, as we all know, don't be shocked, our audience, because I know you can't see it, but there is a black woman playing a mermaid on that screen, and I hate to tell you that. I'm just kidding. I don't actually. I'm perfectly fine with it. But something was interesting, and I read this first of all on Screen Rant. I always check ours, but Screen Rant, I'm kind of ashamed of you, first of all. And this goes out to Screen Rant. I'm not even going to name the writer, but I will probably tag you. Actually, I won't. I'll just tag Screen Rant in this one. Why would you put that this is from the adaptation of the Dutch Tale? No, it's from the Disney. It's from the Disney movie. Alan Menken. Yeah, Hans Christian, the Hans Christian Disney movie. It's not anything about fucking Dutch. Where was the Dutch shit in that movie? Please tell me. Was Eric like the fucking Prince of Dutch? I mean, of Dane. Where was any of the Dutch reference in the culture? That's and the reason I say this, and this is, I hate to kick it off like this, but this is what you do when you invite controversy to movies, because you're giving these guys ammunition that's going, see, that this movie is woke because they're not going off the original story, because that's all we heard, where some of these guys in threads were posting, oh, Little Mermaid's about the Dutch story, and then they're not even putting Little Mermaid Ariel as white. It's like, okay, first of all, where was anything Dutch in the Disney movie? There was no Dutch anything.
I thought it
Yeah.
No
said
Dutch anything.
Disney's Little Mermaid, so
Right.
that should
And so
already.
Screen Rant, you need to. I can't believe you did that. So I'm kind of ashamed that Screen Rant, you should really kick yourself in the fucking butt for that one. I'm sorry to cuss, and we're already a couple minutes in, but you really should, because that really does just invite people to talk about the film. So this is with, of course, Hal Berry, I believe. That's the girl who's starring in it.
Haley
Yeah.
Bailey, I think.
Haley Bailey, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I always get the name wrong. Haley Bailey. So it looks good. It looks good.
I mean, this is what
Can I say?
Disney's ninth or 10th adaptation to all their original master plan of like they
And
want to redo everything in
And
live
we
action.
told you about this, our audience, before. Let me pause Steve on that note, because this is why right now Disney is going through, kind of its second renaissance. Because what they're doing now in this new digital age, since they don't need to invest money in making new movies because that costs too much, they are not going to invest in newer movies. Sometimes they will, but not all the time. But it's safer just to remake an older animated classic into a live action film because they know you're going to see it. They know you
Yeah.
are going to go watch it.
It's
They know.
Disney. They don't even
They
have to
know it.
try. They're
They don't
like,
even
you're
have to try.
coming to see this.
You're coming to see it.
Yeah, that's
You
what I was
know?
gonna say. My
Yeah,
girls,
I
like
guess.
like my girls have seen the original Mermaid and stuff like that, and they've seen some of the older original ones, but they prefer the live action ones over the Disney classics.
My
Mhm.
kids are like that too. They
Yeah.
they like the live action for some reason. I'm like, really? I
Yeah,
think
but
it's
I
kind
can
of horrible.
understand. Yeah, but I think that's just their plan. It's like the Aladdin movie. It didn't do well, right? And they had
No,
and they
but it
had
still
the
grossed some
genie
money.
be Will Smith, right?
Yeah,
Before the controversy, but I just I just it's
it
weird.
wasn't blue.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just so weird to me that people go like it's not about the Dutch tale, but did you see the end of the trailer where the biggest jarring thing is it says Disney's Little Mermaid, not just
Right,
the Little Mermaid based off a true novel or whatever you would say.
right, right.
It's
That's
Yeah.
all you gotta
the
say. And
Disney's
I looked it
adaptation.
up. I actually looked it up. Nowhere else but Screen Rant did it do that. But it looks good. I think the song too, because let me tell you something. Uh, I'm a very jealous man that I didn't get to play Ursula. First of all, I love voice acting, and I could do a great Ursula. The man up there don't like another flower.
You mean King Triton?
This is a bore. You know, I love that song, and don't get me wrong. I listen to that up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the
Yeah.
sun, and it was pretty good. It was actually good, and trust me, I would be the first one to tell you I hated it. But I didn't think it was bad. I'm probably gonna go see it.
Yeah,
I
I'll
mean,
probably see it too.
it
Yeah.
looks good. And you know what too? I mean, and I told you about this, our audience. You're seeing Disney really show some really. Like, you talking about Avatar too, which we're gonna talk about in a second, but look at those graphics that Disney has for that. They didn't need to put no woman in a 3,000-gallon tank to get that. Let me tell you,
Right.
because like I told you before, when they made Finding Nemo, they asked them to do an actual digital picture of a whale diving, and they said recopy this. And when Pixar actually copied it and they showed it to Disney, they were like, "Oh, that's great. We can't tell which one is it." They couldn't even tell
Right.
the one from the fake one. So Disney actually has to dumb down the
Yeah.
graphics on some of these movies just so they look a little bit more animated and fun. Um, but I think it looks fine. I don't know why people complain, and I think it's silly. And of course, as me and Steve have said it so classically, you're mad at what? It's a fucking mermaid.
And there's so
Does-
like save
doesn't
your
make sense.
strength. I feel like they're gonna be doing Hercules and I think Hunchback. Like there's a plenty of them that are gonna
Yeah.
be coming out pretty soon. So I just feel like their hatred is going to just be pushed upon another one where they're gonna be like Hercules is now some big, overweight dude. You know what I mean? Are you going to
Mhm.
complain if Hercules is some realistic version of what Hercules should be instead of just this muscly man? You know
But
what I
we
mean?
already had a Hercules. He was Samoan, bro.
Right.
He was Samoan, dude. This is
The
why.
Rock plays Hercules, right?
Right?
Is anybody going to have a problem with that? I don't think so.
No,
No,
not with Hercules. Maybe Brad Pitt if he's Achilles.
Yeah.
I might.
So, last thing I want to talk about before we actually end this segment, our audience, and this is the reason we're ending this because this next bit is going to be for members only now, and it's going to be for our Patreon members, and we're going to be talking about the 1970s horror movie Baby because that movie is fucking insane. So, let's go ahead and move into Avatar 2. So as you guys know, Avatar 2 it's up there. It's up there now, and they're saying the top 5. But did I not tell you all that it would not get past Avengers Endgame? I told you guys it would be maybe 2-3 week span, and then it would be done. Because everybody, and I've talked to a lot of people out there on the streets, my audience, because Rob listens to you, and I asked everyone. So let me ask you something. I said, when you were watching that movie and all those graphics, for some and those who liked and didn't like it, I was like, let me ask you a question. If I told you those people had to hold their breath to do that scene, would that make you appreciate the movie anymore? And a lot of them are like,
No.
no, I don't, I don't
Right.
really care. And I was like, right, but they did that, and they're like, really? Yeah. Well, I just thought the movie was okay. He didn't need to go that far. Hey, I don't think he made his money back all the way, but I don't know. But yeah, it's there, but I knew it wouldn't get past Avengers Endgame. And again, our audience, for those of you who are forgetting this is Disney battling Disney.
Yeah.
Disney is just trying to drive its profits, like saying, let's see if Avatar 2 can beat Avengers Endgame, huh?
Yeah.
They definitely wanted it to get over Spider-Man, because Spider-Man, they're like, yeah, we don't fucking own that, whatever.
Yeah. We don't own it. It's over, but we want something on top that we can own for forever. And it is so weird. It's like this is the second out of 4 films that we're supposed to be getting. So why are they trying
Of
to push
what?
this one when
Of
Avatar
Marvel? Oh,
Of
okay,
Avatar.
no.
of
Yeah.
Avatar? It
Yeah,
just
no,
Avatar.
this is, I think
it's
there's
like
going to
when
be three or four more.
three
Yeah.
of I think
Yeah.
3 or 4, and it's when that one
Wasn't that
inevitably comes out. What are they going to do then? If Avatar somehow, some way passes Endgame,
Skydiving.
I really don't know, guys. Like
Going to be special effects done diving through the air.
diving through the.
Actually,
I
it's
don't know
already
what
been done. It's already been done,
this
actually.
Didn't
Apollo
it happen in the
13.
first one?
They did that in Apollo 13 as well.
Hmm.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take our first break, and we're actually going to end the segment for our members only. So make sure you listen, like, and subscribe our audience, and make sure you check out Jagged Tooth clothing on eBay. So please make sure you check out our shirts and help support the show, and make sure you check us out on every platform where podcasts are heard. And make sure you subscribe and ring that bell for notifications, because we do put out videos every week. So have a great night, our audience.